Today, our first session of this workshop, we will start with children's growth and development. What is growth? Growth is a change that occurs in the size and shape of a human being. For example, the child's hands and feet increases in size. He or she will increase in height and weight. So that is growth. We want to talk about development. What is development? Development is a change that occurs in the complexity of a human being. For example, your baby would start to babble or coo. After that, that child would learn to say his first word like mama or dada. After that, that child would start repeating you. And after repeating, that child will go into forming sentences. So that's development. A child will go through the same process of growth and development, but in their own pace. Again, a child will go through the same process of growth and development, but at his or her own pace. So take note of that. That's very important. Have you ever heard the word growth spurts? Now, here the definition of that. During this time, the child's body is using so much of energy for growth. It's during these times that caregivers and parents become frustrated. Why? For example, a toddler will quickly get tired fast or hungry. And when that child is tired or hungry, that child will throw tantrum. If that child is not being taken care of at the same time, the child will throw tantrum. Some of them will scream and shout. And a child will go through the same process of growth and development, but at his or her own pace. Again, a child will go through the same process of growth and development at his or her own pace. Take note of that, it's very important. Have you ever heard the word growth spurts? Here's the definition of that. During this time, the child's body is using so much of energy for growth. It's during these times that parents and caregivers become frustrated. Why? For example, a toddler will quickly become tired and hungry and behave in a negative way. Sometimes he or she will throw tantrum. When you see these signs in your toddlers, know that it's not their fault. They are going through the process of growth and development. So embrace them. However, remember that throughout this course, you will learn so much so that you can help your child. Let's move on. We receive our physical traits like our hair, the color of our eyes and skin from our parents. Once you are born, you are exposed to the environment, the people, and the world around you. Positive environment is rich in learning, full of love and nature. Now we have negative environment. Negative environment lack learning and opportunities. So we have to assess our environment, if it's a positive environment or if it's a negative environment. Here's an example of our genetic inheritance that we receive from our parents and the influence our environment may have on us. Mark is tall for his age. His brown eyes and black hair makes him look like his father. His physical traits are a part of his genetic inheritance. Mark also loved to eat his vegetables. You may think he inherited it from his father, but actually Mark's environment and the people who interact with him encourage him to eat his vegetables by giving him attention and praise whenever he eats his vegetables. The people in his environment have nurtured Mark. Environment and genetic plays an important part in your child's development. As the child grows and develops and explores the world, a variety of persons will influence their lives. Yes, that is so true. Persons like their parents, their caregivers, the environment, the television, Those persons and things will influence that child. The first 8 years of a child's life is a period which we call the window of time. Yes, that's what we call it, the window of time. That's the first 8 years of a child's life. During this time, young children are especially affected by their environment and the people around them. Sigmund Freud, one of the founder of early childhood education theory, states personality is one of the most important aspects of development. So take a look at your personality. Let's examine ourselves. Our personality plays a most vital part for our children when they are around us and the people who they are around as well. Bourdieu's social learning theory speaks of observational learning. Yes, observational learning is when a child is watching and observing. And also it speaks about modeling learning. Modeling learning is a process where a child will copy, right? Or imitate when he or she sees or hears something. So that child would copy everything that he or Sigmund Freud, one of the founder of early childhood education theory, states, personality is one of the most important aspects in development. Again, personality is one of the most important aspects of development. So we have to take a look at our personality and the persons we have around our children and their personality as well. Bandura's social learning theory speaks of observational learning and modeling learning. Observational learning is when a child is watching and observing you. And modeling learning is when the child is imitating you or copying everything that you do or say. So we have to be careful on what we do and say around our children because they're observing us. This brings us to the end of today's teaching. We talk about the child's growth and development, the environment, the influence in the environment, and we have questions for you. There are 10 questions that I would post in the WhatsApp group where you will answer these questions according to today's lesson, and you can send privately to me so that I can check it for you to ensure it's correct. I hope that you enjoyed today's session. I'm looking forward for tomorrow. We're going to go in depth about our environment and how we should have an atmosphere of learning, and we're going to go a little more deeper in the influence around our children. So parents, do enjoy, take notes, utilize this information, and take advantage of it as we continue this learning process tomorrow. Have a good day.